What is up, friends? Today, this is what we're going to be working on. And so, we're just going to go through 3 steps. Each step has its own amount of work that would be done on it. So we're going to start with the first one is we're going to set up our scene. The second one is we're going to add materials. And the third one is we're going to work on lighting, which is the cream on top of the whatever you like, cream on top of pancakes, whatever. Like, its lighting is so important. And so I'm just gonna jump in, just gonna open up Adobe Dimension, and here we are. So I just put this here just for reference, just to help me kind of see where I'm gonna place stuff. And so it's so easy. You can do that the same thing too. You just pick out you go to models, go to models, you pick up a plane, you drag and drop it in here, or you click, and then whilst that model is selected, you come over to the right side, click the arrow, and then base color, just click on the base color, and then first default, it will be on color, you just click on image, and then you can add an image, and then it will take you to your file location and just pick out the image wherever it is, and you just drop it in there. So I'm just going to have this here as a reference. A couple of shortcut keys that I use a lot on the keyboard is the key number 1, number 2, and V. So number 1, you can be able to rotate around. Number 2, you can go up, down, left, right. And V, I can use that one to select stuff. Okay? And so with the selecting stuff, let's go to the plane. Basically, you can bring it, you can click on the center, and then you can take that anywhere you want on the grid. Or you can go by the Z-axis, go this way, go up and down, or out and in. Awesome. Cool. So these are our models. Oh, and also for more info on shortcut keys, you go to File. I think it's File. No, it's Edit. Then here, Keyboard Shortcuts. And then you just get a bunch of shortcut keys on what to use. And pretty handy. So check that out. Okay, so for our models, I have a rock. I have a maple tree over here, and I will put the links in the description so you can be able to download them from what's the name of that website? 3D. I can't remember. I'll put in the link. But yes, so I have a rock. I have a deer, and this model that I made in here. What looks like a globe light thing floating. It kind of glows like this. So how I made that was I just took spheres, dropped them in, gave them I went to lights. I went to materials, gave them a glow. And so let me click on the drop down to show you the file arrangement. So this is the glowing ball. I used 2 spheres, one inside the other one, and I gave each of them a glow effect by just clicking on it, and then I changed the base color of that glow and just messed around with the opacity and how bright it is. So with the percentage is how bright you want it to be. You can go up to 500%, but I just put it at 250%. And I did the same thing for this one. I just changed the color on that one and just played around. I put the glow, how bright I wanted to be, to 100%, and the opacity to 100% here. So yeah, you can just play around with that. And this water looking model, I think it was let me see. I think I used the splash C. Yes, that's the one. Yep, so I just used the splash C here. And so what I did was I added a brass material to it, which can be found also. It comes with Adobe Dimension default. Where is it? Here's brass right here. So I just select my model, click on brass, it's added, and then yeah. What's the other one? I think I did 2 of them. Yes, so I did both of them to be brass. And then all I did was I just merged them. Okay, let's go back to undo. Okay, awesome. Yes, so with the deer, all I did was I messed around. I just played around with the horns, and just added. I just selected random parts of the model, and then just gave them different materials. So for the deer, I think I selected the horns. Where is this one? Origami, I think. Yeah, origami. Yep. So I used the magic wand tool, and so when that one is selected, you have the option to specify on specific areas you want to select. But if you have the select tool chosen, you select the whole of the model. Okay, so if I select the select tool and I click on and I select the origami model, it's the whole thing. Okay, my computer is running kind of slow, but it'll be fine. Okay, and then if I use the magic wand tool, that one selects specific parts. So that's what I did. I just selected specific parts of the horn and then added brass. I use brass for that one too. Yes, I use brass. But yeah, and the rock, they're all in their basic with their default materials, so no specific material has been added to the rock or this interesting looking thing like something from the depths of the ocean. But yes, I jump in and just set up my scene. Now let's move on to adding materials to it. Again, adding materials, it is completely subjective to what you want it to look like. There's so many materials here that you can just play around and mess around, try different ones. But for me, I really like using the matte material because each material reacts differently to light. So that's another thing to consider as you're testing different materials. Just take notice of how they relate to sources of light, especially when you run just a test render here or a preview render. Just take notice of it. So right now, if I run a preview render with no materials on, it's, you know, the default materials, they take the light pretty nicely. It's kind of muted, you know, not much reflection of the light sources. But once we add the light sources, once we add the materials, then the light source would affect the materials in a huge way. Let's just jump into me adding some materials. So yes, let's get to it. Okay, so done adding materials. And so what I did was I pretty much just selected the folders that contained each of the materials. Okay, and to create a folder, I mean, if you have individual materials, you just select them all. Control, click then Control, Shift, selects them all. Then on Action, you can just add them into a folder. And so this is how this folder was created: rock models. And so to add a general material to all the models in this folder, I just select that folder, the main folder, and just select the material, and it would apply it to all of them. And then I just go into one of them and just change the color, and it changed the color for all of them. So that's another way to just save you time instead of going to one rock at a time or one model at a time. Yeah, so the same thing I did with all of them, with the trees, with this star looking materials. So now let us run a preview render and see what it looks like when light hits them now that they have materials on them. So you see now it's a lot more brighter. And so yeah, so the materials definitely affect the model in a huge way. So now the lighting setup is actually my original lighting setup for this main scene back here. And so I'm just going to turn those off and show you how I got those lighting. Got the lighting where it is now. To not let this video go too long, I'm going to break it up into 2 videos. In the second one, we're going to work on lighting and some light editing in Photoshop. So see you in the next video.